Powiedz tylko, kiedy jest moment, że zaczęliśmy.
No, zaczęliśmy. Green, rock, green. You have to start.
Okay, I'm making it green. And we are starting a match of Gauson and Vasco versus Zazu and Halfbloodprince. What is a derby of Polish players. Gauson and Vasco are a very solid team. And on the other hand, we have Zazu, who is a new Polish talent, and Halfbloodprince, who is more established player. Vasco is playing for a very long time. He has many games. He's a very experienced player. And now we see their spots. Fearles, are you ready to comment on what's going on, or you're still
Yeah, I'm still doing some technical stuff. You can call.
Okay, so they're on the same side of the map. On the right, we have Gauson and Vasco, and on the left, there is Zazu and Halfblood. Zazu is on a bottom part of the map and is playing Amazon versus Gauson. And on the other hand, Halfbloodprince is playing Romans versus Vasco. Their spots seem to be pretty nice when I'm looking on the spot of the Vasco and on the spot of the Halfbloodprince. Let's take a look on the Amazons and Zazu and Gauson. These spots seem to be quite sweet too. So it seems that probably they might go for a long play as their spots allow them for it. Okay, we have some first scout fights on the bottom between the soldiers of Zazu and Gauson. But they're starting as quite standard with 4 lumberjacks and 2 sawmills.
Okay, I'm ready. Everything should be set now, I hope. And we're streaming, hopefully. Okay, because before I had some issues.
Yes. I've been talking a bit about what is going on. So I hope that I have fulfilled the gap.
Just fun. So, the map looks very interesting. Holy shit, the mountains are crazy. Like they split the 2 teams. So the one on each side. I mean, they're both on the same side. And then there's the mirror in the middle.
Do you agree that they might go for a long play with the spots? I mean, they look like it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, the game can go long because of the spots. However, just maybe because, I mean, that's what's supposed to happen, that the game's supposed to go long. Maybe they'll choose to play aggressively. Although, I don't know, playing Romans and Amazons, I think these games can go long. Unless they have a very, very nice sulfur and gems mines very, very closely.
Yes, well, the mines are the moment the revealing of the mines will reveal us a lot about this game. Who do you think will win this match? I mean, of course, Gauson and Vasco are more experienced, but do you believe that Zazu and Halfblood have any chance?
Well, as we've seen in our practice games with our Polish guys, anything can happen. And I'm not going to go into details, but Zazu and Halfblood have already beaten very experienced team of Polish players, so they might have a chance here. And I mean, the stats are against him, the odds are against them, but I think that if they pull something interesting and they play their best, and maybe Gauson and Vasco do a few mistakes here and there, they have a pretty good chance.
Take a look at the tower of Zazu and Gauson. I think that Zazu might be quite faster to get to the mountains, but is that a huge advantage, you think, or Gauson is doing it better?
Yeah, it's hard to tell. It depends what's in the mountain, really. The Amazons have plenty of mountain in the north, so maybe that's not necessary, but you can never know. And also this tower from Zazu, you mean the one on top of the mountain? On top of the snow or below it?
Both. You see, they tend to play quite aggressively, as Halfblood on the top is also towering pretty aggressively. On the other hand, both Vasco and Gauson are playing it more safely, I would say, less aggressive for sure.
Yeah, we saw it in our practice games as well. Like going for the mirror isn't always perfect, especially if you don't really know what's in there. And also the towers that Pink is building, that Zazu, they don't really take anything from Gauson. They just secure what's on the Pink side. Unless he's gonna build the one on the bottom, then he's gonna take a good chunk of mountain there. But we'll see.
Yeah. Take a look at that's quite interesting. Take a look at Vasco and take a look at Halfblood. There's completely different playstyle. As Halfblood is taking lots of land, however, on the other hand, Vasco already has 2 sawmills, so his economy is much faster.
Yeah, that's a trade-off usually, right? You either go for a fast expansion or you have very good economy. And I think Vasco made the right choice. I would probably go for the same sort of play. You can also see on Zazu's part that he's has pretty big trouble with settlers. Like they're not carrying logs to sawmills, and I think that's going to be a pretty big issue. Whereas for Gauson, the sawmills are working just perfectly. And he's like his big house is halfway done, whereas Zazu is only starting it. So as you can see, like the drawback of being aggressive with taking land is already showing. And you can see Halfblood is going even further. Like he's taking what's supposed to be Vasco's mountain.
Yeah, I think that it might be their strategy. As I was discussing it with both Halfblood and Zazu, they might want to try to do something, unorthodox. They might want to try to be very aggressive to somehow disturb both Vasco and Gauson to play out of the box. So I think that might be their plan to do some out of the box actions. But on the other hand, when you look at the Gauson towers on the mountain and the Zazu quick towers, actually I believe that Gauson might have these 2 towers even faster than Zazu. On the contrary, to what Zazu has planned.
Yeah, exactly, because he messed up with the wood production. And I mean, Gauson should be faster, because his big house is finishing. A pretty solid start from Gauson and Vasco already.
Yes, I think that Vasco and Gauson are proving what we have said about them at the beginning, what I have said about them at the beginning, that they're very solid and stable players, and I think that that's what they're showing at the moment.
Yeah, we know them very well. Maybe not like the people watching, they don't seem to know, they probably don't know them as well as we do, but that's what I think of Vasco and Gauson. They're just very, very solid. And on top of that, Gauson is a known really good chess player. He's been in many, many tournaments, so I think stage fright isn't really his thing. He isn't afraid of playing for like where the stakes are big. He's not really giving up to his emotions, so that might play in their favorites, I think. And Vasco is also, he's been playing Settlers for many, many years. Compared to Zazu and Halfblood, just him alone, he probably has as many games as they both do.
Yeah, I think you can already see it that Zazu and Halfblood are way more nervous than Gauson and Vasco. When you look at the game of the Gauson, it seems that he has a plan and he knows what he's doing. On the other hand, when you take a look at the Zazu, you see that he wants to achieve something very quickly, and that is why he's making mistakes, as he is struggling hard right now.
And also another interesting point, they sort of swapped races, because Gauson is usually, he prefers playing Romans, whereas Vasco prefers Amazons, and in the draft phase, they just, in the pick and ban phase, they basically forced them to swap it. That may play a big role. But on the other hand, like Vasco can just give tips to Gauson on how to play, and the other way around as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting thing about the whole tournament, that we will see some not typical matchups for the players who usually don't play such races, as that's what the ban system allows. So I think that will be interesting.
And also the same thing happened for Zazu and Halfblood. Halfblood is usually more known for playing Amazonians, whereas Zazu prefers Romans. I don't think I've ever seen play Zazu. I don't think I've ever seen Zazu play Amazons in my life, so we'll see what he can manage with that race.
Yeah, and I think you can notice that when you take a look at how Zazu is struggling now, that he has not that much experience. How would you comment the winery of Halfbloodprince when you compare it to Vasco?
I mean, Vasco's a bit of a favorable spot in that regard, because, I mean, the winery is, like the mountain, is just perfect for him. But maybe Halfblood should build them on the left-hand side of his spot, like where the farms are initially. Maybe a bit more to the left. There's a nice hill over there, so... But maybe he just wanted to have them quickly. Because as you can see, the entrance is right here, so the guy has to walk all the way around to plant the crops, and it's just never favorable. You always want to have the crops right next to the entrance, so the path is as short as possible.
Yeah, but on the other hand, when you see such a hill, you just want to put winery there.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of new players think that it's the best place to build because it's so hilly, and it doesn't really matter how like steep a hill is. It just, as long as the guy is working, it's fine. As you can see, the light blue Halfbloodprince is committing to the tower in the middle. It's kind of surprising for me. That's very risky. I mean, taking the land is one thing, but holding it is another. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do that in the long run.
Yeah, and Halfblood still has only one sawmill, and it's full.
And that's a big issue. It's very, very slow. As you can see, the basics are lacking in that regard. Maybe because he doesn't play the race that often. Maybe it's stage fright. I'm not really sure.
I think that might be the issue. He's very stressed. And as you can see, that is very interesting. Gauson has more mountain than Zazu, even though that Zazu tried to be faster. So their strategy is not working too well for Zazu and Halfbloodprince.
Yeah, that's true. Although the mountain on the bottom should be secured by Zazu, at least the majority of it, and the mirror.
Yeah, of course we don't know what is there yet, so doesn't matter. We'll see.
It might as well be that all good mines are on the bottom, like below the snow, or maybe above. You never know.
Exactly, that might be the issue. I think that Halfbloodprince might have problem with this Forester. The same like with the wineries, as the Forester has to go very long way to the lumberjacks, to the place where he's placing his forest, and that might be a problem in later part of the game. He might have problems with the wood because of that, and now he has like too much wood, so it doesn't seem too good for the Zazu and Halfbloodprince. I would say that that Gauson and Vasco has already quite a big advantage over them.
Yeah, it's just basics. As you can see, guys, it's mastering the basics is the first thing you want to do, and you want to learn how to play better. Nothing much happened in the game, and Vasco and Gauson are already in a pretty big advantage. Vasco went for a quick farm and 4 wineries, so that's a pretty greedy build for a 2v2, I would say. A safe play would be to go for 3 wineries and a farm. I'm not sure if he's scouting of what they're doing. Let me check. Because if he sees that Halfbloodprince is slow, then there's no point being afraid. There's only a spy now going north above the mountain. And Halfblood is sending 2 or 3, 3 spies now. So Vasco doesn't know what's happening, and so that's kind of risky play of him. I mean, it's gonna pay off, obviously, because they're not rushing, but even though it's sort of east versus west, I mean, rushes still can happen. They're still as deadly outside.
I would say that it's quite surprising that Vasco started spying that late, because from what I have seen, the best players in Settlers 3, and I would say that Vasco belongs to this group, tend to spy a bit quicker, especially in 2v2s. I mean, I guess you would do it quicker.
Yeah, obviously. If you can't send the spy, just send a swordman. You gotta see, like, your first major decision regarding the build is whether you build a farm or not. And he built the farm blindly. And if there are some crazy rushes, obviously, with very, very fast level 2 and weaponsmiths, he would have been in trouble. It's not the case, but still. You wanna have the information before you place the farm, whether it's safe or not.
Yes, but what we can see is that Half-Blood might have an advantage over Vasco because of the tower on the mountain of Vasco. It might be the only chance. If he has very bad mines, if Vasco has very bad mines, it might be a problem for him. But from what I see now, Vasco already has a quite good iron mine and some coal, so it won't be that bad.
Yeah, and the mountain is quite big, so even if he builds the tower, Vasco is gonna be fine for quite some time. Let's look at the Amazonians. How are they developing? I'm not really an expert in Amazons. I've played them a bit, but it looks like the build is pretty standard. The farm, also one of the on the greedier side, I would say. Both a farm and a beekeeper's hut, too actually. 3, 4 stone cutters. Oh, that's maybe one too many. Building a 5th on the bottom from Gauson. I would say that's a misplay. You don't want to build the 5th one as an Amazons, definitely. And I'm gonna be harsh on them because they're the favorites. Vasco and Gauson, that is.
Yeah, I think that we have to expect more from the more experienced players. From what we see, Zazu already has blacksmith, and Gauson does not.
Yeah, so that's a deviation from their build. But Zazu built only the beekeeper's hut, and his farm is a bit later. But we can see he caught up, even though his start was, well, atrocious, to be honest. He managed to recover quite nicely. Gauson,
Yeah.
I think the stonecutters will put him slightly at slight disadvantage, because there will be, I think, the worst part of it all is he's gonna waste the pickaxe that could go into a mine.
Yes, I think that might be the issue. So it seems that Zazu might still have some chance, even though his start was atrocious, as you have said. And take a look on the Roman side.
Yeah,
How's going?
Half-Blood is getting spied by both Gauson and Vasco, so they know very well what's going on. And 2 farms, that's very greedy. If he's gonna build, okay, 2 wineries
And 2 blacksmiths. That's interesting.
Yeah, let's see if he's gonna build both of them at the same time. That's pretty strange build. You can see he's not very sharp with the build, even at the beginning. That might kick him in the butt later on. I mean,
Yeah, I hate the forest of Halfbloodprince. It looks terrible.
No, yeah, it's very inefficient. It's gonna work, I mean, don't get me wrong, but it could have been better. Like, he's building another forester, which would have been necessary had the first one been placed correctly.
And how is the situation at Vasco right now?
Vasco is pretty standard, although he's adding a second weaponsmith too. 1 farm. I wonder, yeah, he probably saw that Halfbloodprince is building 2 of them, and he's actually committing to building 2 of them. So maybe that's why he's building 2 of his own. I'm not really sure. I mean, it's a safe play. It's nothing too crazy, but just to be safe. Yeah, but Halfblood is gonna have trouble with the mana. He needs the 3rd winery ASAP.
3rd, so he has only 2 for now.
Yeah, that's as far as I can see. Yep.
Yes, he's building the 3rd, so... Yeah, but Vasco will have 4, as from I have seen. He already has 4.
Yep, and they're all very good. I mean, the 2 are very good. The one on the bottom is, I mean, okay, and the one on the right, I think the guy's marching too far away from the entrance. Maybe the building itself is a bit too far from the hill, but it's alright.
Yes, but I'm still quite convinced that they will work better than the one by Halfbloodprince. So
definitely,
it's not an issue for Vasco, because I would say that it's enough to be better than your enemy. You don't have to be perfect in such case.
Yeah.
You can allow some mistakes when you're playing against less experienced players. I mean, if he would be playing, for instance, against you, that would be a problem. Maybe.
Unless I made even worse mistakes, you never know.
Yeah, it also happens. Nobody is perfect. So maybe let's come back to the Amazons, as I see that Gauson already has a blacksmith. Same as Zazu, who is producing bows.
Yeah, but Gauson is significantly behind in terms of the blacksmith. However, Zazu, as Mati often likes to point out, Zazu has the blacksmith early, but he doesn't have the mines to support it. Like, he has the iron mine, but the coal mine is nowhere to be seen. And soon enough, both ironsmith and weaponsmith will run out of coal. That means they won't be producing. That means Gauson will catch up because he already has the mines, mining resources.
Yes, I think that's a very good tip. When you don't have mountains, it's better to build some different buildings and focus on them and, do something else, because you never want your blacksmith to stop working. That's quite an important thing. Of course, there are situations in which, for instance, somebody wants to rush you and you cannot allow to have such a comfort, but in this situation, Zazu made quite a mistake.
Yeah, also, I'm looking at Gauson, I'm nitpicking here, but like his beekeepers' huts are planting the hives on the trees that will most likely be cut down pretty soon, so that's a bit of a waste, I guess. He should have changed the working area of the beekeepers a bit higher. It's by default now, it should be around here. That way they don't go like in here or here to plant the hives, because they're quite useless if the trees get cut, I believe. Yeah, but
I think it would be enough to change just the position of one woodcutter, and the one that's on the nearest to the honey keepers. It would be enough.
There's some pings going on. There's a spy getting chased down, and the Halfblood is finally starting to build that tower in the middle. I'm not sure if that's going to be any good for him, because he's only now starting producing weapons. And I think that, like, Zazu and Gauson, they seem to be more or less even in terms of build. I mean, Zazu is a bit behind, but I wouldn't call it a horrible deficit. He's gonna have a faster level 2, but when you compare Halfbloodprince and Vasco, the difference is quite significant.
I think that this tower by Gauson made quite a big difference, because Gauson has much faster coal mines thanks to that, and he declined coal mines from Zazu. And I think that Zazu doesn't have these coal mines because he couldn't find coal. That's an issue. So that was a quite game-changing tower.
Yeah, there are pretty juicy coal mines in the middle. That's true. Okay, so what is Vasco up to? I mean, textbook play so far. I would say nothing. Not much you can point out here. Or maybe the overflowing winery. I guess the small temples were a bit late. I mean, building them after the second weaponsmith is a kind of iffy decision, but it's gonna be fine. It's gonna build 4 small temples. Could even go for 5, I would say. They won't be working 100%, but they'll more or less suck all the additional or excessive wine bottles that they're lying around currently. He has nice settlers count, so no issues there. What weapons is he making? Mostly bows, a few.
Vasco is going for spears. At least he has built like 3 spears.
Just three.
Bows. Yeah, just 3 spears.
They're hidden behind the building there. He's going for a fast pig farm, I guess. No, he's just leveling both grain mill and the pig farm. He's going for the second grain farm. Yep.
And from what I see, Halfbloodprince has the same problem as Zazu, as he has almost no mines and not working mines. He has 1 coal mine, but it's not working. And on the other hand, at the same time, Vasco already has 3 coal mines and 1 iron mine. So he has quite an advantage, because he will have way better flow of building weapons. So it seems that the team of Halfbloodprince and Zazu are struggling and struggling and struggling. It's not going good for them outside.
Yeah, Half-Blood. Yeah, you cannot support. You simply, it's not physically possible to support 4 like weapon production buildings just with 1 mine. And also, he doesn't have settlers. I think that's a bigger issue he currently has. He needs this small, this medium house ASAP. Luckily, he has all the resources needed for it. Yeah, so as you can...
How many
yeah?
medium residences would you have
At this point?
time?
3, at least, maybe even 4. You want to have pioneers to expand to, because there's a lot of space, and you have to go for stone in the south, I presume.
Yeah. As you can see, Vasco already has 4, and he's building another 2. And Halfbloodprince has only 2, and is building another 2, and he's finished the 3rd.
Vasco could use some pioneers and take that stone on the right-hand side of his country.
He could maybe fix a bit his wineries of his pioneers. What do you think, or not?
Yeah, sure. I think he's gonna run into stone trouble quite soon, because the one on the top left is out of stone already, and the ones on the right will have longer and longer way to get to the stone fields. And he should probably invest into a 3rd sawmill, because he has 3 foresters. As I always say, you build as many sawmills as you have foresters. If you have 3 foresters, just go for the 3rd sawmill. Right now would be a good time, I'd say.
I think that's the biggest issue on Vasco land. And he has so much nice stones on his right, as you have mentioned, and he has put this new stone cutters too light, I think. That would be the issue, as you have said.
Yes, he's building the 3rd sawmill on the right, bottom right.
Yeah, and on the other hand, the Halfbloodprince forest still looks quite nasty.
He added another forester, so it might get better. Vasco is recruiting already. Half-Blood should be recruiting in a few minutes as well. He's halfway through the level 2. Yeah, but nothing too crazy so far.
Yeah, it's quite easygoing game, I would say.
Yeah, and I would expect something from Half-Blood and Zazu, because they're... I think that just their enemies are just slightly better in long play. So if they allow the game to go for the longer, like over an hour, I would say, then they have big trouble. Same as in the game yesterday versus Senav and Generalen versus Mafmaf and Sirmars. Like Sirmars and Mafmaf were in a similar position, I would say.
But what's your opinion on would Vasco and Gauson have a chance against Generalen and Senda?
Well, it's too early to say. If they prepare something clever, then maybe sure. I'm not sure. I would have to see more performance of both teams.
But judging on the there's attack going on. I think Vasco is attacking the tower of Halfbloodprince.
Yeah, he should take it easily. Halfblood should actually crush it. There's some heavenly presence being cast. I believe he got another one. He got 3 gold bars. I think that's inconsequential. In the attack, he has 39 combat power. Yeah, but that tower is, meaningless. He only wasted time building it, time and resources.
Yeah, it was a mistake to build a tower there by Halfbloodprince. I think that actually Vasco should put his pioneers back, as he has no free settlers, and he's using the pioneers for no reason right now. Or maybe he wants to attack further.
Yeah, he probably doesn't realize that he's low on settlers count. He's building quite a few production buildings currently. Food production buildings, that's why he's low on settlers. He's going further. I think he realizes, that Half-Blood only now started to recruit level 2 soldiers.
I think that Halfblood might have a problem with defending this tower, or maybe not. Maybe not.
I think... I'm not sure. No. I think his level 2 should arrive in time. Vasco doesn't have that many.
There's a priest of Zazu here.
Yeah.
For a freeze.
But I would say if they waste the freeze, What a waste. Because
Yeah, exactly.
you don't need to freeze that. There's just not enough swordsmen to take the tower. And
I think it would be best to just crash this tower. You don't need it.
maybe. Oh, you can just hold it.
It's the last tower of Halfbloodprince.
Oh, okay. Well, then crushing it is not advisable. So
Yeah, I would not advise that.
they may panic and freeze them then. But there are more swords coming from Vasco. So, okay, interesting.
Yeah, that
Pioneers
looks quite
retreating.
interesting.
Not needed here. I wonder if they actually freeze. I think they see that there's just no... Oh, the doors are breached, but there's a spear inside.
Yes, I think that Halfbloodprince for a moment didn't know what to do, but now it seems that he can handle the situation for now.
Vasco probably doesn't know that it's his last tower. And Halfblood is not even building another one. So I guess he's very committed to holding this one. I would say that's...
What is good for Halfbloodprince is that Vasco has no settlers at this moment, so he cannot build more soldiers.
You're right, the attack has to probably come to a halt at this point and wait for additional settlers. Or move the pioneers back.
However, Halfbloodprince is struggling too. He has no big farm for now, and Vasco already has it. It's not working because of the lack of the settlers, but it will. So it seems that the economy of the Vasco will be much better, and he has regained the access to his mines, so that looks quite good for him. Maybe take a look for a moment to the Amazons.
I'm looking. I wonder if there's any gold for Vasco to take and continue the attack. I mean, it's just only now starting producing gold. What's interesting to me, there's a very quick pig farm from Gauson, and a bit of a misplay in terms of proportions. He has only 2 farms, I believe. 2 farms, and he already has 3 bakeries. That's just too many, and he's adding also the pig farm. So you're not going to support that. You want to have as many bakeries and pig farms as you have the grain farms. So on 2 farms you can support 1 bakery and the pig farm, and maybe another bakery for some time, but it's usually not going to be 100% efficient. And I wonder why is he building the big pig farm so quickly. That must be because there isn't that many gems and sulfur. There are some mines here and there, but they're not really that great, it seems.
Yeah, there's just 1 gem mine, so I think in the long run it might be an advantage for Gauson, even though it's not a perfect decision, but it's better than what Zazu is doing, because Zazu will be struggling with iron at the time that Gauson does not. So even though it might not be the perfect decision, it might be still the better decision that Zazu made. And Zazu is building quite chaotically, I would say, in 3 different places of his country, if I see it well.
I mean, it's acceptable, I'd say. He's building a toolsmith just now, whereas Gauson has it already. He had it for some time as a 3rd farm, so just overall slightly better build by Gauson. And Gauson is going hard into the mines up north. There's a nice gem mine right here, and some more sulfur up in north as well. So he should be running more alchemists than, I guess. At least 2 more, I'd say.
They're quite distant, but they will work good enough, I think. So it seems more and more difficult for the team of the Zazu and Halfbloodprince, I'd say. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Halfblood is still struggling with settlers. It's never good. It's one of the most basic mistakes that you can make. Obviously, right after building your last tower in the middle of the map. I mean, I guess I understand, sort of, that he's afraid of getting sniped from behind, because, I mean, if he has all his army in the middle, especially over that mountain, then he cannot quickly go back and defend the tower if it's being under attack by, I don't know, a ship or some strangled swordman. But you need a tower in the back. This is just very, very bad decision, I would say, to just leave one in the middle, in front.
Another interesting thing is that for now on, Halfbloodprince has 2 iron mines and some iron on the mines, and just two coal mines. And at the same time, Vasco has only 1 iron mine, but 4 coal mines and gold mines. So he might be planning to attack as soon as possible, I guess.
Oh yeah, he's making gold, so yeah, that's definitely a sign they want to end the game early. They don't want to go for too long, because, I mean, when you have Amazonians on your team and you're making gold yourself as Roman, that means you want to push. Maybe spear push? Level 3 spear push? It doesn't look like it, because he's still making bows.
Oh, he's producing mostly bows, just a few spears.
But he should be saving them for if he wanted to go for like a level 3 push. And so
would you do it? Because my intuition is that I would go for level 3 spear push and just finish off the Halfbloodprince.
Yeah, that would be a good strategy, I'd say. Halfblood is all over the place with his production and just won't have enough settlers. And I mean, I guess it's very difficult to like know that it's his last tower. But I mean, there's plenty of ways you can sneak in spies and actually see that there's no more towers there. And as I said before, Vasco is not expanding fast enough to the right side, especially. He should already have this whole like stone fields taken and maybe even cut down the straggler trees that are there to open up some space for building.
Yeah, I think that on this spot is really nice. You could be a bit faster than Vasco is. He's not playing perfectly.
Yeah, but he's still playing very, very well, I would say.
Yeah, of course. And you can see it when you compare it to the Halfbloodprince, who is playing way worse. And when you look at the third binary of Halfbloodprince, again, he has a problem that he's going for a too long way.
It's a fourth, actually.
This is fourth. Oh, where's the third?
It's by the grain mill. But he only has 2 small temples, so just proportions, incorrect proportions, I guess.
Yeah, so I think that Vasco with level 3 spears and maybe 2 converts would be a deadly combo. Halfbloodprince has built second tower here, so he's maybe not bunkering up, but making some more space for him. It's quite understandable.
He should build maybe a big one if he wants to hold this place.
Yeah.
He's taking gold right now as we speak, so the attack might be coming sooner than level 3. We'll see. Although he's not recruiting, so maybe not.
And at the same time, I think that Zazu is struggling with the amount of soldiers. Let's compare them. 46 from Zazu and 73 from Gauson. And when you look at the Vasco, it's 70 and only 51 by Halfbloodprince. So if the Halfbloodprince has convert, and I guess that if the Vasco has a convert, and the Vasco has a convert, and I believe that it's impossible for Halfbloodprince to have it, as he doesn't have a large temple, then it might be game over very soon.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have a large temple. Oh yeah, okay, that's a blunder, I'd say.
Yeah.
You want to have it like around the 13-minute mark. You want to have a big temple, especially in a 2v2. I mean, having a convert advantage. If your enemy has a convert advantage, then you basically need to have 20 more soldiers in order to compensate for that. Which is just not the case. I guess both teams are scouting each other quite well. I know Vasco had a few spies at Halfbloodprince. And there are also a few spies of... there's one spy of Halfbloodprince and one spy of Zazu at Vasco's territory. So they should more or less know where they stand, who has an advantage and who should be worried. They probably also know that there is a gold production going on, although there's no gold production. It's just gold ore being stored. It gives you combat power, but it's just way less I would say one gold bar equals to like 5 or 6 gold ore. So you need
but
way more than
at
that.
least it's quite cheap, and he wants to play offensively. I mean, Vasco. So it might be a good idea. What do you think?
I mean, it depends how good the mine is and how much fish you have. Because it's all about the fish, I would say. I mean, Vasco has a pretty good food production, adding a fourth farm.
There is Gauson Priest here.
Yep.
And Vasco is sending some pioneers, and he has, on the other hand, he's waiting for level 3 bows, what is a huge advantage is Halfbloodprince doesn't even have third level 2. So it seems that the game might be over very, very soon.
It looks like he's 5% away from the level 3, although he's struggling with he's struggling with coal, unfortunately, so he's not really producing that many weapons. He saved up only 18 bows. I mean, that's just that's very few, but that may be enough to actually even kill Light Blue, considering he does not have a big temple. He's only building it now, and I think that's just too late. It's gonna take at least 3 or 4 minutes to complete it.
It's way too late. I think that Halfbloodprince is making a typical mistake, as he's building third blacksmith, and the 2 that he already have, they don't work. So or they don't work fully. So I think it's very important to have fully working blacksmith to build another ones.
And I see that's a mistake that a lot of new players, I would say, do. As you can see in the menu right here of distribution of goods, by default, your weaponsmith is receiving slightly less coal. And I always would recommend to set it to max. That way, your iron smelters and weaponsmith have more or less the same coal, because they need more or less the same coal. As you can see right now, Halfblood has like 8 iron bars in the weaponsmith and no coal whatsoever, whereas the iron smelters are overflowing with iron bars already. So what you can do, it doesn't mean like you have, I don't know, lack of coal or anything. It's just that your proportions are incorrect. You just slightly increase the coal for the weaponsmith and it all should be fine.
Oh, and it seems that Vasco is ready to attack. He has some level 3 bowman. He has priest from Gauson, his own priest with 1.5 convert, but 1 for now. On the other hand, Gauson is very safe, as he has way more soldiers than Zazu. Zazu has only 64 and Gauson has 88. So it seems that Halfbloodprince might die pretty soon.
Yeah, I agree. He still hasn't built any towers, right? Yeah, in his back. No, that's only 2 towers. And there's no priest whatsoever. Vasco has a convert. He's not going to have another one, I don't believe. It's still quite like a few minutes at least to get that. He has 58 combat power. Not like crazy amount, but it should be enough, I think. With the amount of soldiers, you have to remember that he has level 3 as well. And with the freeze, let's see how it pans out. There's a freeze of Zazu as well, so that's a bit of a help. There's a bit of a surround going on, I guess, by Halfbloodprince. Going right here. He's
well, actually, Zazu has this Amazon spell for bowman, so it might be maybe change something.
Invincibility? He has it already?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh
and
yeah, that's true. So that should be casted.
With his swords for...
Oh, but he used the freeze instead.
Yeah. And of course, Vasco could just convert the invincible bowman, so it wouldn't change much, I think.
Yeah.
And now the swords from Vasco come, and I think it's over. Nothing.
Gauson didn't even have to freeze, I believe. Yeah, he still has a freeze available. There's not much that the Halfblood can do. He just made too many mistakes on the way, and Vasco played too solidly. I mean, he has a bit of an issue with coal. It's almost resolved, but it's still, I mean, there. But yeah, like very good timing on level 3, a pretty good start, and that's how it ends. If you If you don't have a convert at this point, then I mean you're basically dead, and especially the towers too. He could have retreated maybe if he had towers somewhere in the back. Wouldn't be too terribly because that would take a bit of time for Vasco to build the towers here to crush the mines. But I mean it's just over, and Zazu isn't even going to support. I guess he knows that there's nothing he can do really. The only thing he could do is just do a Hail Mary attack on Gauson and maybe kill him somehow. Maybe steal the gold, because he knows where it is, I think. But I mean, they're protecting it, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think it was impossible for Zazu to have any impact right now, as he has less soldiers, so... Basically, that's it.
Yeah, Halfblood has been destroyed. Let's see if Zazu is gonna continue. I mean, he has a pretty good production. 3 weaponsmiths, I believe. Yeah, he managed
Gauson
to...
has 4.
Oh, yeah, so I mean, that's even more than Zazu's, but he has a bit of gold, so I mean, he could try for the Hail Mary attack before Vasco gets here. There's still like a sliver of chance, but I don't think it's just enough. I mean, he's slowly starting to realize there's nothing he can do. He also wasted or used his freeze, so the Gauson has advantage on that as well. And I believe there should be there's a priest, Vasco's priest, at the gold, so he can use the Festering Fear or maybe another convert to help Gauson if he's having trouble. Oh yeah, so the attack is happening, I guess he's gonna try. I mean, good for him, I would also try, even though there's no chance, because you never know what your enemy's gonna do. He might mess up, he might be, I don't know, something might happen. He might take a lucky tower and all of a sudden the game is back in your favor, or at least you're back in the game. But there's
but here is just a dramatic attack, as Zazu has like 1 sword here, so it cannot work.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the soldiers to capture it, and he should empty the towers too. Yeah,
Vasco is coming from the north, so it's just a matter of destroying the towers and the game is over. So what would you say about the game of Vasco and Gauson? How would you sum it up? Was it
solid.
Good enough for finals, or just a good
I'm not
solid...
sure. Not sure. I won't go that far. I think it was solid. They played the spots they got. I think they both had a pretty good spot. They played solidly, standard, nothing crazy. That's what I would expect of them. And that's how they won. Pretty straightforward game. I would say their enemies made too many mistakes, more than I expected. To be honest, I thought that the game would be more even, and that Zazu and Halfblood would have played better.
It seems that they were quite nervous, as I believe that both Halfbloodprince and Zazu are better players than what they have shown us today. So I think it was the matter of stress. I guess that when I will be playing my games, I will also be stressed. So I think I can feel their stress, their emotions quite well. I can imagine that.
Yeah, it kind of happened. Definitely.
Yeah, so it seems that Zazu is dying and the game is over.
They will need a few more minutes to take the tower, because it's only now that the swordmen are coming. GG is being called. I'm kind of a shame. I would have thought that, because that was the one. That was one of the timings early on that they had to like do some damage, and they did, and they won the game. But if let's say that the game was more even, then it would go for, I presume, much longer, because you can turtle in this map very well.
What do you think about the idea of Zazu and Halfbloodprince to take these mountains aggressively? I mean, if the idea was executed better, could it be a chance for them, or it was just a bad idea from the start?
I think it was quite a bad idea, or maybe bad execution too. Going here as Halfbloodprince, it was just made no sense whatsoever.
Okay,
right.
And it's over. Do we have any other matches today?
No, I don't think so. There's just one match today. There's another one tomorrow. As I can see the stats, there's a clear advantage. Team 1 just has 50 more soldiers. At this point in the game, that's a lot. They have less gold, surprisingly, but the gold ore isn't counted here. That's worth pointing out. So Vasco had a bit of more combat power, but it's not shown in the stats. Yeah, but 50 soldiers, and what's more importantly, the convert. I think the convert if Halfblood had a priest, I don't want to say that he would have defended, but he would have had bigger chance, definitely. The convert, and there is festering fear ability he could use. So maybe Vasco would have to pull back at least and wait out the spell. Yeah, but maybe with a little help
might have
of
give them chance to to fix their errors, fix their mistakes, and come back maybe later on if they play late game in a better way than Vasco and Gauson. However, I don't believe that it was possible, but it would be a chance for them. But I think that Vasco and Gauson had this whole game under control. There was no moment in which they could have lost this game.
Yep. All right. Thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Rock, for commenting. I guess
it was a pleasure, and thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to us.
Bye-bye.